Are we together? I never had the privilege to be around extremely wealthy people, just like most of us. Here and there we had average people. Some of us came from families that were average here and there, but extreme levels of wealth. Notice that this is one of the reasons why many of us, our educational background is very poor. Till today, we are still fighting that warfare. Let me tell you where it started from. It started because of the kinds of nursery and primary schools we went to. You went to a school that you sat on stone. Now, I'm not insulting you. Are we together? Yes. A school where they teach in another language and they translate to you in whatever language you can know. Because that's what is obtainable. Are we together? How you pass your JSC is now that you know it was mercy and favor. Because you were certainly not ready. Now, let me tell you, if you come from that kind of background, you will be surprised. The first thing you have to manage is complex, not assimilation. The moment you find yourself in the company of other people, their confidence will intimidate you. You will have to fail for a long time before you start building. Your own assignment at that point is not even to understand what they are teaching, to manage your complex. Just a question they ask you, stand up, and you cannot say your name again. You don't fail because you are bad. You fail because there is a backlog of something you are dealing with. Exposure is powerful. Exposure is powerful. The same way you grew spiritually, because you were exposed to people who God had helped. Are you seeing that? When this ministry started, by the grace of God, there were so many spiritual people. Someone would get born again in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. When everybody is fasting, you won't have the grace to complain. When everybody is praying, you won't have the grace to be lazy. When there are programs and everybody is praying through the night, you will easily follow suit. Is that true? We are products of our environment. So God needs to grant us access to exposure. Now listen, I want to say something, and please let it not hurt you. If for any reason you come from a polygamous family, or any kind of family for that matter, that did not model correct fatherhood, correct motherhood, correct brotherly love, you have an extra project to do on yourself, to trust God for grace. Are you getting what I'm saying? Let me tell you this. Now, I love my father. I love him with all my heart, and thank God for what he has become now. I say this respectfully. He's still alive, so I'm saying it very cautiously. But I love him, but I do not model his system of fatherhood, especially in his youth. That's because his own father died when he was 10 years. So he spent his entire life hustling. He grew up a bit with his uncle, who was a soldier. He was a what? A military man. So what do you think? His whole template was warfare and aggression. That was what he termed progress. And now we happen to be the ones in the scene. And it was terrible, especially being the first son. It was a tug of war. It was almost like fights between myself and my father. Everything was aggression. You bring cold water for him to wash his hand, he won't say you are wrong. He will slap you. You fall with the whole thing. Then you go to the kitchen and ask somebody they slapped before, how did you manage that situation? Now please, don't you ever see my father, and my father is a born-again, loving man right now. He's a healthy and wonderful man. Are we together now? Yes, I respect and I honor him with my life and forever. So don't think that, honor your father. I'm not just, he's truly a good man. One of the most honest people I've seen in my life. But he was a victim. I have learned by experience that the concept of being bad does not really exist. Everybody is only an executor of his understanding. Because there is no bad dead body and there's no good dead body. There's only a dead body. Are you getting what I'm teaching you now? Yeah. And so that life of aggression, exposure. I didn't want it, but that was all I had seen. And so subconsciously, as I started growing, I found out that my approach to life began to reflect that. You don't receive willingly